Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime, and pretty much before I even get into the review itself, I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, okay, as far as today goes, as far as today goes, it was only supposed to be the day in which I review in which I end up reviewing like pretty much My Hero Academia and Fire Force. Those pretty much were the only two I was only supposed to review today, but because of because of the weird release schedule of basically My Hero Academia and One Piece today, um, I how Fire Force is gonna fit into this probably is that I'm either going to do it like I'm either going to review that one like pretty much late at a much later time today, or I'm gonna review it tomorrow. I'm not sure which one, but yeah, it's like this whole thing with I'm not sure how the release schedule was going over there in Japan or whatnot, but yeah, just the whole just factoring in the whole the whole holiday that was going on in Japan. So Shonen Jump took a holiday. It really kind of threw everything off for me. So I don't know how like at what point I'm gonna end up reviewing Fire Force. So um, with that said, let's get into the chapter review itself, which is One Piece chapter 952. So to start off, the previous chapter, it just kept throwing us into one thing after another. Like first thing we see is it wastes no time in jumping right into Zoro's duel with Gyukimaru in order to get Shusui back. Then after that, we cut to Luffy and his group. Luffy and his group, like we basically see the aftermath of them having taken control of the prison mine, along with Prince Hyogoro having reunited with his old comrades in basically the Yakuza. Um, his old comrades who were also bosses of the Yakuza. And then we take some time in order to see the progress of Kinemon's group as well as him being informed of what happened at the mine. And and that whole word salad I just described to you guys is honestly my biggest problem with this chapter because is my biggest problem with this chapter, or at least the first half of this chapter, because it felt like the majority of events that were happening in the first half of this chapter that were leading up first half of this chapter felt like because the biggest problem I have, at least with the first half of this chapter, is that it felt like majority of the events that were leading up to where we see all happened off screen. Like it felt like all these events were supposed to have it felt like all these events were supposed to have some kind of lead up that all happened off screen, but we didn't get that lead up. We were just kind of thrown into it, and I didn't and I got and the points in the chapter in which I got this the most were in the Zoro versus Gyukimaru fight and Chopper healing everyone and Chopper healing everyone, like the aftermath of Chopper healing everyone. Those were the most jarring moments to me. The latter of which mainly because I wanted to see how Chopper healed everyone, but yeah, so it's like as a whole, it was a good chapter. I'll say that much. But pacing wise, it really just felt all over the place for some reason. Um, and yeah, it just felt like there was some serious lead up miss. There was, and like I said before, I just felt like there was some serious lead up that was pretty much missing from like the first half of this chapter, obviously. Um, and like I said, that's not to say that it was a terrible chapter either, because there were some very standout moments. And the first thing to talk about in regards to the reunion, in regards to the union between pretty much Hyogoro and the other Yakuza bosses is that we basically now have a means, but in order to unite the citizens of all four regions against Orochi and the Flower Capital, on top of the obvious fact of them being even more of an addition to the military, being even more of a great addition to pretty much the already growing growing military strength of this rebellion. Um, and also, I can't lie. There was strangely something satisfying about seeing Luffy being strong armed like he was, but by pretty much all four of those of Hyogoro's comrades. Maybe because Luffy has always gotten away with so much with so much by running his mouth that it was just fun in order to see him like almost face the consequences. Of course Hyogoro ended up talking them all down, but yeah, Luffy, if you weren't friends with Hyogoro, you would be dead, bro. Just saying. um, but one other key thing I kind of took away from the introduction of these four guys of the four Yakuza bosses is exactly what is it kind of I can't believe I didn't think of it before. I'm such a dumbass, but with the reveal of these guys being like in prison along with Hyogoro, it truly reveals that what pretty much is that what he was hoping to achieve is that what Orochi was hoping to achieve is basically have the Yakuza under is have the entire Yakuza like uncontestedly under his banner, but pretty much by getting rid of all these rogue elements as well, which of course he kind of did already. But yeah, like it's funny. Only now am I fucking realizing that. But yeah, but either way, just having the Hyogoro and the other four back is gonna be a great help for sure in terms of with the rebellion, obviously. Um, Now when it comes to Kinemon's side of things, first off, I can't tell you guys how much I laughed my ass off when he shouted out loud that Raizo accomplished when he shouted out loud of everything that Raizo accomplished at the prison mine, because I feel that was almost Oda's way of taking a self jab at his own ability in order to get so much progression done with just the simplest of setups. Like somehow like it just really. It strangely felt like he was taking a jab at his own ability to do that for some reason. But the more important part of this moment, however, is that even we get the reveal that even though the rebellion has all these new allies that obtain the blueprints of the castle, a new problem of securing a large enough weapons cache has presented itself. And what I like about this problem is that unless Oda is going to flip the script on us, he's already given us the answer with pretty much Gyukimaru himself. Like Gyukimaru has, as he said, Gyukimaru is like a weapons monk or something like that, and he's stockpiled all these weapons. So I'm sure he's stockpiled like shit tons of weapons already from just from just people he's either looted or stolen or defeated. So I think it's pretty safe to assume that basically Gyukimaru has the weapons necessary in order to make this move forward with the rebellion. And now whether or not he has enough weapons for basically 3,500 men, I think it's 3,500 men is a different question entirely. Or was it 35,000? I don't know, but yeah, if he has enough. If he has enough weapons, the big question is whether or not he has enough weapons for pretty much everyone now at this point. Is the bigger question. I think he might, but we'll just have to wait and see. And either way, I'm curious to know what exactly. But if it isn't going to be Yukimaru who has all the weapons necessary, then I am curious as to who or what that Raizo and Kinemon are going to do in order to get these weapons, if not from Gyukimaru. Speaking of Gyukimaru, after getting confronted by pretty much a group of Kaido's men who were looking for revenge, we get a tease of a connection between Gyukimaru and Kawamatsu. And considering we see him, and considering when we see Gyukimaru run away, we see like tears in his eyes. I think I have an idea what the connection is. I'll bet that Kawamatsu was Gyukimaru's master at some point in time, and when he got captured, I think Gyukimaru probably felt responsible for what happened to his master, and is just too ashamed to face him, I think. Now, at least that's my best guess, but but whatever the connection is, though, I hope Kawamatsu can pretty much convince Gyukimaru in order to give Shusui back to Zoro, or at the very least shed a little more light on what this God of Swords business is, because honestly, like a lot of what I've gotten from pretty much Gyukimaru up to this point, and the little back and forth he's been having with Zoro, is that Gyukimaru is. I feel like Gyukimaru is seriously misinformed as to pretty much what is seriously set in the old ways too much, and is possibly misinformed, but as to what Kaido's domination of Wano actually, like, what was involved with Kaido's domination of Wano. Like, I don't think it was anything to do with sword. I don't think it was anything to do with sword gods, but Gyukimaru, he probably more than likely thinks that. And yeah, I'm curious as to what it's gonna take in order for Gyukimaru to pretty much in order to stop fighting with Zoro, and B, even possibly give Shusui back. But yeah, guys, that's my review. Enjoy the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Mr. Crunchyroll. Dead Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.